Hey guys, what's going on? GM Magnum.
GM Throwback.
With Dice Bagging GM. Just gonna get a minute. Alright, so we've had a lot of response from our video Fudging the Numbers. There have been a ton of video responses. DBJ,
Samuel G,
Ham and Opie, Bash Biznit, and you guys have all
Juice.
had Juice. Can't forget Juice.
Circo.
Dig your videos, man. You know, there's been a lot of conversation coming from this video, and we love it. We really do. We just want to give you guys a shout out. Thank you so much for watching our videos.
Love the feedback. Love the viewpoints.
It's all fantastic. You know, we're not going to dig too far into what we've already said. We've also commented on the video. We've commented on some of the threads in the RPG Brigade. You know, we
also
YouTube, all of that. And part of mainly what we had to say is that we weren't necessarily talking about fudging dice rolls. We were talking about fudging numbers. But DBJ brought up an excellent point that fudging dice rolls does happen. If you just decide on an outcome that could have been rolled, such as with your hit points. Oh, well, everyone's rested, we all have full hit points. You're fudging a roll.
Or a mechanic that's like, it's like 8 hit points.
Or a mechanic,
or
you know.
like
but yeah, there are...
Well, for a level 8 level character.
Right, and DBJ, you had a really great point with that, where it's usually in favor of the player, and it is something that you could roll a die for, but you usually gloss over and just give it to them. You know, we do stand by, if you're going to roll a die, go with the die. And part of what we had said in the former video was things like, well, you know, the players are going to roll it, but you as a DM know that their roll has no outcome. And a lot of people were like, well, then why let them roll? Well, you let them roll because people like to roll dice. To me, it's that hope factor. It's the, oh, well, I could get out of this if I roll a high enough strength. Well, you didn't roll a high enough strength, sorry. Bash Biz, did I say it right?
Bash Biznit.
Bash Biznit. We have a gameplay video coming out, man, that I really think that you should check out. Once we get it up, we're going to send it your way, but it is a situation in which it was necessary to keep a character restrained. Now, I completely agree that if you're going to keep your character restrained for the duration of the game and they can't get out of it, yes, you're right, it's BS.
Oh, that is complete bullshit, yeah.
It is complete garbage. Under no circumstance should you keep a character tied up in a room for the duration of the game, especially when they can get out of it. Key point there, duration of the game. You were tied up for what, 5 minutes?
Tops.
And then he was out and he was where he was. The whole purpose of that was so that he didn't die. Because we've been gaming for quite a while together, and I know how he plays his character. If I let him break those chains, he would have attempted to attack and his head would have been ripped off. That's role playing. That's his character. That's what his character probably would have done.
On that note, though, while we're talking about it, the guy was a dragon, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. Like in disguise. See, I would like me being a my character Throwback is a 9th level now. 9th? Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
9th level dragon shaman, and on top of that, which comes from a 3.5 player's handbook too. If you guys want to check it out, it's pretty interesting. But it's like a fighter with a breath weapon. It's pretty cool. The interesting thing about it is I have a lot of points in Knowledge Dragon, and on top of that, I inherently knew that he was a dragon, and I would not have attempted it.
Well, and he knew that he was an evil dragon. You know, it was a black dragon dressed as a human. But anyway, I digress. You know, there are certain circumstances, but yes, I agree. If you're going to have a character locked in a room for more than a few minutes at a time, it is complete BS for the player, for the game. It's just all garbage.
Bash Biznit.
Bash Biznit and Ham and Opie, you guys both mentioned fear. Fear of failure, fear of your players, fear. And at first, I'm not going to lie, it really upset me because it sounded like you were saying we were afraid of failure. We were afraid of what we were doing. we love crit fails. We love failing. We think it's hilarious. We think it's a lot of fun. And there are so many different ways you can turn a failure into a great plot twist or a great storyline aspect or something of that nature. Ham and Opie, you were more fear of failure. Bash, you were more fear of players.
He mentions it as a
reason for him.
Well, he mentions it offhandedly. I'll recheck out the video. I watched it twice, but I don't remember everything off the top of my head. But he didn't say it was necessarily him fearing to be a DM or a GM or anything like that. It was just more of a general response.
True.
So it wasn't specifically targeting, but
it felt like it was, and I can understand if it wasn't. Which is why we didn't come directly out with a video response right after sitting down and watching everyone else's. We wanted to give it time to really let what you guys said sink in so that we can form a thought out, proper response.
Not just, blindly lashing out like, my video, blah, blah, blah. That's just unnecessary.
We're not here to upset people. We're not here to, start a war. We're here to make RPG fun and to really put out, quality products and quality viewpoints. But I can understand the fear of failure. Bash, the fear of your players and what you fear they may do or something of that nature. I'll tell you this. I am afraid every single day that we sit down to game that my players, not necessarily that they're going to kill everything, not necessarily that they're going to, do everything or, that they're not going to do it all the way that I have it written or the way that I have it laid out. My fear of my players comes from the fact that they are so good. I fear that I'm not going to be able to provide them with a fun experience. And that falls in line with your point that being afraid of your players so you don't let them do anything. Now, Thromac will tell you, you want to go left, go left. You want to go right, go right. You want to, go hang out in the brothel, go hang out in the brothel. I'm afraid that my players are going to completely outclass me and run circles around everything that I have planned, and that I'm not going to provide them a good GM experience.
You guys have done that to me in our off campaign that we don't do on camera. It's just
that was hilarious.
Yeah, like you got like there was one point where I made a fork in the road, and this was talked about in another video. I put there was 3 forks in the road, not necessarily all in one, not all one branch. There's a fork here, then a fork up there, and there's different signs point different areas. And one of them I named certain death just as a joke, just to see if they would go down it. And sure enough, these guys did. And I made certain death a facetiously named town. Everything was all nice and pretty. Everybody had it was like they had a freaking homeowners agreement and all that stuff. So everybody had to have flowers and picket fences and stuff. There's a constable that rolled around that only spoke in alliteration, and that was a challenge in only speaking in alliteration.
And it was hilarious. My favorite one, we were playing the off campaign. I was a level 9 Dwarven fighter, and we come up to the dragon's lair, right? And Thromac had gone through and he had designed this extremely elaborate maze and with magic and with traps and all this. But what he didn't realize is the complete foobar that the player dynamic has. There was a hole leading into the dungeon. So what we wanted to do was lower somebody down on a rope and see where the hole went. So we lowered somebody down on a rope, and it ended up being a portal that came out above us. So
above the hole.
Above the hole. So we're lowering him down, and as we're lowering him down, he goes down, 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 and down, and then he's on top of us and looking down on top of our heads.
I see some people,
and we're talking down into the hole as he's talking up into the hole, and nobody really realizes what's going on. And then it kind of clicks. Magnum hits his roll, and he's like, oh, well, let's see what happens when I throw the squishy into it. So Magnum grabs the sorcerer, throws him into the hole, and he just starts falling over and over and over again. Right, the portal effect. And
great
then,
game, by the way, great for puzzles.
And then we, after so much of the portal, he vanishes. Well, I, as a noble dwarf, am not going to let my squishy go. So I jump into the hole, and end up where he is, and everyone jumps into the hole, and all of a sudden we're at the final fight, and we just saved 4 hours off of the campaign. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that I wasn't expecting you guys to mess with it too much, but you guys went for it, and you basically bypassed an entire dungeon and eventually used up the magic of the portal,
Right.
and ended up in the final chamber with the I believe it was a wind elemental.
No, it was a dragon.
Was it a dragon?
Yeah, it was the copper.
Oh yeah, no, the copper dragon's a good
Or the
guy.
bronze.
Those are good
No,
guys.
it was a good guy. We were down there talking to him.
That's right, you talked to
him. It wasn't a
him.
fight.
Yeah, that's right.
But either
That was
way,
months ago, so
that's the kind of fear that I have, is that they're gonna catch on to something that's gonna
character-wise catch on, not even player.
Yeah, character-wise. But anyway, I digress. We just really wanted to throw a shout out there and say thank you for the conversations. We're gonna continue with our behind the DM screen segments, and I've had a couple messages where people are like, "Well, why are you telling all the DM secrets and da 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 da?" Really,
It's not a secret. It's in the
it's not
handbooks.
secrets. Just about every DMG that I've read for Dungeons and Dragons says this is a guide. The DM makes the rules, and I love that about RPGs, is that you can completely distort weather, you can distort time, you can distort so many different things going on around you, and that's where the creativity comes in. So, thank you guys for watching the videos. Thank you guys for the discussions. We're definitely looking forward to more of this coming about, because I think it really has drawn the RPG community closer together. Everyone has been real calm, real chill with their responses, and nobody's really flown off the handle or gone at each other's throats or everything like that. But as with DBJ, dude, you're right. You're totally right. Calling BS. DMs have been fudging numbers since the beginning of RPGs.
Gaming, circa,
Gaming, yeah.
Circa, as you said, like 1973, 1974, 1975-ish.
Right.
And that's just that was just D&D. There had to be other games, but I haven't researched it.
Yeah, so, again, thank you guys very much. We're, we dig the fact that we were able to spark such a discussion. And for that, that's why we do these videos, is for that discussion, for that back and forth, and to hear everyone's viewpoints on D&D. I mean, we only know what we've played. Or not just D&D, but RPGs in general. We only know what we've played and who we've played with. The European viewpoint is always awesome. We love Europe. Been there a number of times. It is awesome. I love hanging out with European people, man. You guys just have a totally different way of looking at a lot of things. And RPGs are one of them. And we love the viewpoints. We really do. So,
Yep.
Got anything to add?
No, not really. But if I do, it'll end up being a comment or something like that. Because I know I had a thought earlier and I completely lost it. But
Don't you hate when that happens?
every time it drives me insane. But again, thank you very much for all your feedback, and thank you for welcoming us into the RPG Brigade. Like I've had a blast personally, just sitting in the comments, just reading what people have to say, even the video response, what people have to say about certain things. It brings about a lot of different ways of looking at things. Like I know there's a there's a guy I was talking to. His name's Francois Letarte, or I might be mispronouncing that because I'm not French. I can't speak French either. So, but he brought about a good idea. My son is always, and my daughter, they're always in the videos, and I like that. I'm a parent. I'm a parent gamer, and he actually brought about an interesting little game, and we'll get into that in our next video, which we'll be wearing the same shirts because we're doing a lot of work before our game today in about an hour or so.
Yeah, we don't, with our current occupations and hobbies and whatnot, unfortunately we don't get as much time to hang out and do videos as we should. And Dice Bagging GM is not just me, it's not just him, it's just not just two of us. It's all of us. All the players, they're all going to be coming out with videos and with tips and tricks and things to do. So we don't want to come at people individually. We do discuss the videos before we do them. We don't script them, but we discuss them, and we make sure that we're all on the same page. And the page today is the awesome amount of discussion that's been going on and stemmed from our first behind the DM screen video on fudging the numbers. We're just totally excited that this kind of discussion is going on in the community. It's awesome. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it up. Next topic, I think we're going to go on behind the DM screen is the DM screen itself, and we're going to express our opinions.
We did that already. That was what fighting the numbers was about.
No, I'm saying like
whether or not to use it.
Whether or not to use it.
Oh, yeah.
And people have already expressed opinions on whether or not they use the DM screen. So we're going to be looking at, kind of our take on it, why we use it, and we want to hear your guys' opinions on whether you use one or not, whether you enjoy them or not, and truly making it a full-blown conversation and keeping this community vibe rolling. So that's it for us, yeah?
That's it for me.
All right, guys. Well, this has been GM Magnum
GM Throwback.
for Dice Bag and GM, and in the meantime,
Keep them dice rolling.